We got good news from CTV. Alberta ditches proof of vaccine program at midnight.
Yes.
Masking for students on Monday. This story, February 8th, 7:27 p.m. Eastern Time. This is happening right now. Alberta's highly controversial proof of vaccination system expires as the clock strikes midnight Wednesday. Premier Jason Kenney announced Tuesday amid accusations that he was playing politics with public health measures. Rules that require students to wear masks in Alberta schools will end on Monday, and children under 12 won't have to wear masks anywhere starting then. Credit goes to the truckers. I don't care what they say. I don't care about the lies. They were never going to give up power. Now we're hearing even in the U.S., Democrats are likely to give up on the mandates. And what are they saying? Oh, but the science has changed. No. A bunch of truckers crippled the capital of Canada, and they all saw that happen. They all saw how powerless they were. They all heard that truckers were planning on doing it here in the U.S. They all saw the polling, and they said, we should back down on this one.
Science changed its mind. That's what happened here.
The honks were loud.
The science has changed. Pray I don't change it further.
The science didn't change, right? You know, the only respect in which you can make that argument in good faith is saying that the Omicron is a lot less virulent than, and also morbid, I guess would be the right word, than it was the OG virus that was coming out in like March 2020 or whatever. Like that's a valid argument, right? The way the proper public health response to Omicron is very different, I think, than the proper public health response to the original virus.
And it was so unknown in the beginning that they reacted very extremely because they didn't know.
Which is also rational,
understandable,
because of precautionary principle
and because, like you were saying, it's hard to undo a process once it's going.
Yes.
It was kind of, now you see like stores that are selling masks and stuff.
Well, and also all of the decision-making power was in the hands of people who wouldn't pay a price for overreacting, and so you were going to get an overreaction.
It's also where polling was. I mean, if you look at the polling is flipped, right? If you actually look, if you remember looking at those polls in like March, April 2020, they were like 80-20 in favor of severe restrictions.
Yeah.
And that's flipped completely, right? So now 80-20 the other way.
Let me read this portion of the CTV News article. They say, the Premier, Kenney, recently said that a plan to remove restrictions would likely come by the end of March. 5 days later, he changed the timeline when he said he hoped to relax measures this month. Last Thursday, a United Conservative Party statement said the Premier will begin lifting restrictions within days. Now, what could have happened that would make him just abruptly change his mind and move the timeline by almost 2 months? Could it be Ottawa was shut down and they were helpless?
The free people of the world have spoke.
The political power we've discovered here means that leftists are going to try to infiltrate trucking. You're going to start seeing PSAs about how trucking is not a safe space and we need like diversity and inclusion training within it.
It won't work because trucking is you by yourself in your rig.
Well, the future of
I'm
trucking,
telling you, they're going to do this.
It's going to get automated.
They can't leave anything that has any value or power alone.
They're going to automate it, and then they're going to try and control the trucks.
I think that's also a possibility.
Yep, that's what they're going to do.
And they're going to be like, hey, Ottawa,
I
you
think
don't want
my
to take
idea
the
is
mask.
funnier.
The food's not coming to your area because we control all the shipping.
But think about how awesome that will be then.
Yours is
like,
much funnier.
It's 20 years, and then all of a sudden one day, all automatic vehicles, trucks, and cars gridlock DC. And then they're like, how is this happening? And then it's like,
Chinese hack.
No, it's like Jeff Bezos, who bought the companies, holds the phone and he's like,
No, dude, it's some like
butt dialed, sorry.
13-year-old. It's some 13-year-old who made a bunch of money off of that era's version of Bitcoin, and he's just purchased up all the trucks.
You buy the company that controls them, right? So when they automate trucks, it's going to be a trucking company with no drivers who just owns a fleet of trucks.
That is terrifying.
And then it's going to be one CEO being like, I can't believe they would pass this law restricting my business. Beep. And then all the trucks. I guess the issue is...
I don't think we can get self-driving trucks. I just realized that. Because you know what's going to happen if anybody ever tries to do self-driving trucks? The trucker convoy.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
You think they'll protest?
They've landed on a protest that they found out really works quite well.
It's true.
And so
Really
I think they'll just repurpose it.
I wouldn't support that protest. I think automation's inevitable. It's kind of like the horseback riders protesting the car.
Ian, I don't think you get it. Doesn't matter if you support it.
Oh, right.
It doesn't matter. They're gonna win. They're gonna win.
Okay. Like, the thing about Bezos or any one billionaire owning all the trucks is that the reason they would never be able to do that is because if they did press the button and have all the trucks gridlock DC, they'd be arrested in 2 seconds. They'd have agents at their house. They'd grab the phone. They'd change it. They'd control it. But the other scenario is in 30 or 40 years, the trucks all of a sudden one day gridlock DC. And there's Bezos runs out and he's like, it's not me. I don't have control of this. And then there's the real scenario and the fun scenario. The real scenario is China or some nefarious actor takes control.
Like an
of,
artificial intelligence, a rogue
I
artificial
was
intelligence.
literally talking about our political rivals hacking our system.
Ian's like
Well,
the
you're talking
trucks
40
came to
years.
life.
You're talking about
He's like they became
Skynet, but
self-aware.
or trucks.
The other possibility I
move
thought
them.
is
It's like the
one of the
truck
trucks
to DMT.
stands up into Optimus Prime. and it's
Skynet
like,
won't
I'm here.
nuke everything. That's far too simple.
Okay.
Stop it.
What I was trying to say is one of our rivals, our adversaries across the globe, uses and hacks our infrastructure to take control of it and gridlock our system. Because China can't gain mind control powers over truckers, but they can create a worm that infects all the trucks and then allows them to control it. But sure, Ian, perhaps the trucks become sentient and then
Also,
say,
Tim,
we deserve
I
rights.
don't know that I would say China can't start hacking people's brains. It depends on how popular Metaverse becomes.